Dr. Roxie, you're here to talk about patient co-creation. You're going to be doing a workshop on it later. Tell us what it's all about.
Most of the folks that are attending here have some kind of role in health innovation. And so every health innovator that's bringing a technology to market, the first thing that they want to do is to maximize market success. And one of the key determinants of that is product development and product launch. And a key factor in that is co-creation. And so what we're talking about today is how to involve the patient in that co-creation process. We're going to talk about the value and the urgency of including them and integrating them into the process really early on.
I really love that framing. I feel like a lot of times when people talk about involving patients in design, they talk about it in terms of sort of why it's good for the patient, but it's really good for the business too. It's kind of essential, right?
Yeah, it is. You know, what's interesting is that most health innovators want to do all of that innovation on their own, think that really should come from within the company. But the reality is that those that are most successful are the ones that actually tap outside stakeholders and make them part of the process. So it helps them reduce their R&D costs, and it also helps them increase their success rate.
What are some of the secrets to doing patient co-creation right? How do you find the right patients? How do you incorporate their input?
I think that it starts with one of the things that you touched on, which is co-design. Most brands are including patients. If they are, they're including them in the co-design process. And that's really just a small piece of getting them involved in order to maximize success. So we use a framework called the 5 Co's for product development. And so we talk about how there's value of including them in the co-ideation, co-evaluation, co-design, co-testing, and co-launch. And so one of the first steps to success is making sure that there's a strategy and a plan for involving the patient in each one of those 5 phases.
So it's every step of the way.
Every step of the way, they're contributing value. A lot of times innovators have their own idea of the innovation, and they might be involving the patient just to validate some of their own assumptions, right? Their own plans for going to market. So you talked about pitfalls or, barriers. So, one of them would be, just including the patient to be able to get them to say, yes, that's a great idea.
Yeah, you can check that box.
Right.
We asked the patient.
Exactly.
We might have asked 10 until we found one that said yes, but
yes,
we did it, right?
Absolutely. And so you might feel good about that. You might be able to feel like you got approval to move forward with the innovation as you originally intended, but is that going to really help you maximize your market success? Probably not. And so too often we don't ask patients what they think, or they tell us what they think and what they want, and we fail to deliver it to them.
Can you give an example or two of where you've seen this work really well, or where you've seen it work, not doing it work badly?
Some of the companies that do it really well, unfortunately, are those outside of healthcare. So companies like Starbucks, Procter & Gamble, Dell, even Lego, that's part of their core offering is this consumer engagement around, they call it open innovation. They have technology platforms or websites where consumers can go on 24/7 and put forth their ideas, or rate and vote for their ideas, or actually rank down for ideas that they aren't interested in. And so that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about today is how can we learn from some of the brands outside of healthcare, those best practices, and start applying them in the healthcare industry so we can maximize success. One of the things that's really surprising is that over 70% of the product ideas or service ideas that Starbucks has launched in the last few years have not come from Starbucks. It's come from their target customers. And so you can imagine how that's been a game changer for their company. And so you just remove all the guesswork of what your customers want when they tell you what they want. Hopefully we will start to see more and more companies in healthcare apply this methodology and start to have more success stories in this industry.